And by the way, if you're in the Hillary Clinton campaign, your counter-argument to all of us on the Sanders side who say, hey, but he does better here and he does better with younger voters and blah, 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 blah. They go, yeah, but you guys won a lot of caucuses, and the caucuses are less democratic. Less people vote. Mm-hmm. It's a super strange system. Yes, that helps you capture the excitement better, but less people vote. So, well, that's not a great system either, and it is super complicated.
Yeah.
And to be fair to the Clinton people and the press, it is a little weird.
Yeah.
Right?
I think caucuses and superdelegates are going to be gone pretty soon.
That's the question that I was about to ask,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
how much longer are we going to deal with this complicated, cumbersome system that I think is going to discourage people from voting in the future?
Well, it's weird because it encourages some people in some places. And the Iowa caucuses will likely stay because they're very proud of it. There doesn't need to be a caucus system in other places, though. I mean, voting does, as Cenk said, and as we all know, causes more people to vote. So, so they're probably, if that's the idea, then they're probably going to do away with those. So Minnesota already has. And they just voted it out last week. So next time Minnesota won't have caucuses.
So here's the deal I would strike at the convention. I don't know that this is a thing that a deal they can make at the convention, but it should be.
It's going to be good.
And by the way, I'll be there, so maybe I'll help them make the deal. Anyway, we get rid of the caucuses and the superdelegates. In return, all the states are open primaries. Seems fair, more inclusive. You want more people voting in the Democratic Party, so open up the primaries. The caucuses are cumbersome. Caucuses help insurgent campaigns like Obama's and Sanders, but open primaries would also help them. You make the system less complicated and more fair. Do we have a deal?
No, I have another question, though.
No?
I have another question. So, California is a huge state, right? And there are many delegates on the line, many, many delegates.
Okay.
So what
it is a tremendous state.
It's a little frustrating as a native Angelino that by the time the primaries get to California, it's already been decided, especially by the mainstream press, who the
You almost made it this time.
Huh?
Just almost snuck into it mattering until last night.
It didn't. It just, yeah, exactly.
Right?
And so,
yeah, it never does.
First of all, the media reporting who the nominees are before California has even voted, I think is irresponsible. Even if you know without a shadow of a doubt that Hillary Clinton is going to be the nominee, I don't think that it's right for you to put out headlines indicating that, hey, this is the nominee. It makes people in California, people who are voting today, feel like their vote doesn't matter, and that's unacceptable. But I also hate the fact that we have to wait till almost the very end to vote, right? Especially with a state as gigantic as California.
Well, so again, that cuts both ways, though, because if California had voted earlier, Bernie Sanders wouldn't have had the time to build up momentum. So if California had voted right at the beginning, Sanders, I think, almost certainly would have lost California.
That's a good point.
So the insurgent campaigns want the bigger states to be a little later, maybe not at the end, right?
Yeah.
But certainly not at the beginning either. That's why I have the best compromises.
Okay,
anyways, okay. But I do want to make one more note about what Anna said, which is actually very interesting. So, said even if you, AP, for example, knew without a shadow of a doubt, which they certainly didn't.
They did not.
Right. That which way the superdelegates are going. They should have waited a day to let a quarter of the country vote.
Yes.
Right? And so there is a rationale for that has a precedent. If all the press know the exit polls, but they don't tell you the exit polls, even though they know them, until the polls close, because they think that would affect the voting. So they have information they do not share with the public because they don't want to affect the voting. Now, in a situation like this, here we have. They think they have information that clearly could affect the voting. Even if you're unclear which side it helps, it affects the voting one way or another, right? So there was an excellent argument to behold that information. Now, to me, I don't think they really had it. They won't even tell us who raised their hand and said they're going to vote for Hillary Clinton. So apparently you didn't really raise your hand, right? So so that's why I think it was wrong on all the levels. But there's an argument to be made, even if they were sure, they should have held it for one more day.